Hi, welcome to Digital Workflow, a workshop brought to you by the Washoe County School District 21st Century Learning Division. My name is Sarah Stewart, and I am the Striving Readers Instructional Technology Specialist. I'm going to be your presenter as we look at some various methods and ideas for digital workflow. So the first question we have to address is, what is digital workflow? Teaching in a high-tech digital environment is going to require a seamless workflow. You need to be able to communicate with your students effectively. This includes assigning them work and having a way for them to turn it back into you. Doesn't end there. Once the work has been collected, you need to be able to provide effective feedback. And all of this must occur digitally. As you can see on the screen, this represents an example of workflow. So starting up here at the top with creating an assignment, then you have to distribute it. The student has to receive it, complete it, send it. You have to be able to receive it and then complete your assessment and provide that feedback to students. So the question you're probably asking yourself is, what tools are available that can help me accomplish this workflow? And that's what we're going to explore today. We hope that we can help you fill in that question in the middle. And there is no one specific magic bullet tool. It's really a process that you have to dive into, and you have to look at what's available, what your needs are, what your expectations are, and come to that conclusion yourself. So everybody's answer to that middle question, which tool, is going to be specific to you. And hopefully we can help you with that throughout this presentation. Some things I'd like you to consider as we work through this is, what type of access and equipment do you and your students have access to? Not just inside the classroom, but outside the classroom as well. You want to make sure that you pick a tool that works well with your access and equipment. The second consideration is, what would you like your students to be able to do? So is it important that you're able to assign work and have students annotate and fill in that work and be able to turn it back into you? Is it important that students are able to have discussions? Is it important that they're able to collaborate on their work? These are things you have to ask ahead of time, because you really want to make sure you have your decision nailed down so you can introduce it right away for students and then keep on that path throughout the year, just reinforcing the use of that workflow. So what features are non-negotiable to you? These are some questions that you need to ask. So what we're going to do is start looking at the few of what I believe are the best tools out there, free ones. And as we go through this exploration, I'd like you to keep a list of the pros and cons of each of these tools. Hopefully, you'll have a good idea after looking at the pros and cons and having those considerations in mind that I previously mentioned. You'll have a good idea of what tool is the best fit for you in your classroom. So we're going to do a tool exploration, and I'm going to share some information with you, possibly take you into the tool for a short visual demonstration. You will be required to explore some additional video tutorials and clips that help you dig a little bit more deeply into the features of these various tools. And in addition, I may even ask that you join as a student into my digital learning classroom for some of these tools so that you can see what it looks like from the student perspective. So this exploration is going to be very hands-on and differentiated. You're going to have a lot of different perspectives. not just mine. So let's start by looking at Edmodo. Edmodo is a social networking tool for education. It was designed and built for education, so it has all of the privacy and safety features built in. So even though it resembles and looks a lot like Facebook, it's completely different in the way that it is engineered and built. I'm going to go ahead and I think the best way to introduce you to Edmodo is number one, let you look at the overview video. And after you've looked at the overview video, I'm going to take you in for a quick demo. And then I'm going to let you explore some of their tools, some of the resources and support that they have created, and you can pick and choose which ones you feel meet your needs best. You can report back on what you've learned, maybe add some stuff to your pros and cons list. And then I'd like you to join my Edmodo group as a student and practice turning in some work to me. Hint, I may ask you about some of those pros and cons for that. So let's go ahead and get started with the overview video. Okay, so now you have a little bit better idea of what Edmodo is. This is the sign-in page for Edmodo. And I'd like to just point out a couple different things here. Whenever you feel like you need a little bit more support with Edmodo, they have a great support team that really is very prompt in responding. So I'd like to point out that. They also have some information for teachers that you might find valuable under their classrooms link. If you already have an account, then you go ahead and sign up here in the top right hand corner. But if you're new, you can go ahead and start here. Notice they have a spot for teachers to sign up, students, and even parents. It's great that they have the ability for parents to have their own account to be able to log in and see what their child is doing. Again, it only allows them to see what their individual child is doing, so it's in line with all of the legalities and privacy issues that we worry about. I already have an account, so I'm going to go ahead and sign in as me. Let's see here. I'm going to log in. Oh, nice. Maybe I didn't need my whole email. All right, so now I can see my Edmodo splash page, and just going to give you a quick overview. I don't want to spend too much time on the nitty-gritty because everybody is possibly at a different learning progression with Edmodo, and so that's why I'm going to point you in the direction of some additional resources so that you can grow your knowledge based on where you're at. But you've got your navigation at the top. The most important thing in digital workflow is that you create groups for your students. So I can create a classroom. Okay. And then once I've created my classroom, it takes me into that group. And just to give you a quick tour, you have some communication tools at your disposal. You can type messages to students. This could be discussion prompts. So if discussion is important to you, Edmodo might be one you consider. You can, in those communication links, attach and embed videos, websites. You can upload documents into a virtual library. And then once those are uploaded, they're easy to choose and share. So you can attach those to your posts. You can upload files from your computer. Assignments are easy to complete as well. You can load the assignments, assign it a due date, describe it, and again, the same tools: attach files, links, or documents or digital media from your library. You can do quizzes, so you can create your own quizzes or use ones that you've already created. And you can create polls as well to get quick feedback from your students, a nice assessment tool. And then for those of you who teach ELA or math, they have a nice new assessment tool called Snapshot. So if you're a seasoned Edmodo user, you may want to choose to look into that new feature of Snapshot when I give you some exploration time. So that's a quick, very quick overview of some of the features that are available in Edmodo. One of the things that I think sets Edmodo apart from some of the other tools from my own personal use is the fact that they have an app store. So that's another area you may want to explore. They have free and paid apps. And as you explore these learning apps, you can install them and make them accessible to your groups. So you can see some of the ones that I've downloaded. I've clicked on my apps launcher over here, and you can see I've got some different tools. They range from games to tools, all kinds of different things that are available. And again, that may be something that you want to explore in a little bit greater detail, especially if you are a seasoned Edmodo user. So in addition to some of your individual exploration, I am going to invite you to my classroom. And you can see I'm going to create your assignment right now. It's going to be called Pros versus Cons. And, I'm not going to actually put a due date here. We'll just put this way in the future. I'd like you to identify some of the pros and cons from your independent exploration as your digital workflow choice. They do have an app. So another important consideration for digital workflow is the devices. Is this going to be accessible? Is it going to be device agnostic? I think that's the most important, because especially if you want your students to complete work outside the classroom, you don't know what they might have access to at home. Some kids may only have access to a smartphone. They may not have a computer. Or maybe they have a tablet, but it may not be the type of tablet that you're familiar with. It might be an Android device or an iPad. So choosing a tool that's device agnostic and works across platforms is important as well. Alrighty, so I have sent you guys your assignment, and this is something that you can, when you log in, you're going to join my group. My code will be provided with you, and you're going to log in, join my group, click on the turn in button, and you're going to turn in your thoughts based on your independent exploration. Okay, so our next tool is a Google for Education application. So it's only available if your school is a Google Apps for Education site, and that's something that you need to discuss with your administrator in greater detail if you're interested. Nevertheless, it's a new tool, and it is called Classroom, Introducing Classroom. So to give you a brief overview, I'm going to let you watch this video demonstration, or video introduction rather. Okay, so I do have a Google Apps for Education account, and so I was able to go in and use Google Classroom. This will give you a better idea of what it looks like if this is something you're interested in pursuing. Alrighty, so I'm at the home page. I want to go ahead and click on the plus sign, and I'm going to click Create Class. And I'm going to call this my Digital Workflow Class Peeps. That's what I'm going to call it, Section 1. See what happens after I create a class here. All right, so it has created my class, Appears to still be loading. I can change my theme. Okay, I like this book theme, so that's the one I'm going to select. I can see the stream, so I can see what's going on. I can see students, and so you guys will be asked to join my group and do the same assignment as you did for the Edmodo, which is pros and cons based on your independent exploration. And so students can self-enroll just like they can with Edmodo. And I can also add a little bit more information about my class, which I will do later. So let's go back to the stream and let's just start this little tour here. Okay, so the classroom stream allows you to post your announcements and create assignments. So those are your options with Classroom. You've got the code to provide students for self-enrollment. You can add your students individually if you want. And that's pretty much it. It's extremely self-explanatory and very, very simple, intuitive platform. Once you have created assignments, let's create one. I'm going to call this one again, Pros and Cons of Google Classroom. And I want you to share what you've discovered, pros versus cons, based on what you've seen in this demonstration and based on your independent exploration. So you can add your due dates, you can attach files from your computer. It integrates with your Google Drive. So you see when I click on my Google Drive, it's already linked up, which is why you have to already be a Google Apps for Education account. So I'm very easily able to attach and create documents. I can insert videos from YouTube, or I can paste in web links. So I've only got 2 classes, and I want to assign this to you guys, the Digital Workflow class peeps, but if I wanted, I could also do the practice class that I've created previously, and then I'll click Assign. Okay, so once you guys start to turn that in, I will see how many are done and how many are not done. And as a teacher, when I click on those, it takes me directly to your assignment, and then I'm able to provide my feedback directly on that. So really seamless, nice, simplistic tool. So what I'm going to have you do right now is I'm going to provide you with some self-exploration links, and depending on your independent learning level where you're at, you can choose which ones fit your needs, and then you can report back, join my classroom, and submit your assignment. All right, our next tool is Evernote, and again, this is a free tool. They do have upgrade possibilities, but I have yet to meet an educator that is actually needed to upgrade to the premium. A great tool that is cross-platform. It can sync changes through multiple devices as well. So you can have Evernote loaded on as an app on your computer, or you can use the web-based version as well. I am going to share several different videos with you about how educators use Evernote, and let you report back on what you have discovered. Okay, our last workflow tool that we're going to explore is Schoology. Let's get started by looking at an introductory video. Okay, so now that you have a little bit of an idea of what Schoology is, let's jump in and see what it looks like. To sign up, you click on I'm an instructor and you walk through the prompts. And once you are in the program, you can click Next on their little Schoology tour. So let's see. The first feature is creating courses. So you can create individual courses for clubs, classes, anything that you feel meets those needs of a course. Okay, then you can create your own groups or join groups to collaborate with others. So it gives you the option of expanding your professional learning network. Under the Resources tab, you can find resources that you might want to use in your courses. Here's where your notifications are. So these will light up if you have new things that you need to devote your attention to. Your profile, where you can personalize your account. Your account menu, associate yourself with your school, ask questions, look at your account settings and your privacy. And then the upcoming area, which helps show you any updates for things that you've assigned, like tests or quizzes or assignments or events for your classes. The recent activity basically says it all, shows you updates for your courses, groups, or school. So by associating yourself with your school, you're able to communicate on a school level, which is nice. And that pretty much takes us through the tour of their navigation. So another resource that you might want to take advantage of is their support page. So they've got guides, questions, latest news. They do have an app center over here if you click in your left navigation bar. And you can see that you can filter by categories and grade levels and what's recommended for your role and what's most popular. Scroll through and kind of get an idea of what's available. It's not as robust. You don't have as many as Edmodo, but I believe that's because it's more of a fairly new feature. You can connect with people, so it does have that social learning feature. You also can send messages, and you have access to a calendar. So kind of your basic nuts and bolts. Let's go ahead and demonstrate creating a course. So I'm going to call this my workflow class, just like I did in the other tools. This is a class that you guys will be joining. Okay, so I will at a later point verify my account. Again, it's an educational tool, so they have some nice built-in features for safety and privacy. So I will make sure I do that. Down here, you can see some of the options once you get into your course. Under options, I can send messages. I can edit my privacy. So right now, anybody at the school level can see, but you can see the various levels. And options there for parents and visitor settings as well. I'm going to go back to my class. So that's something you'll want to be careful about. They do have a grade book and attendance. There's the access code that you would need to provide your students in order to join the class. It's the code that I will provide you. You will use that to sign in as a student and join and explore. Badges. Edmodo has badges as well, so those are great for motivation. Let's see what I have under add materials. I can add discussions, tests, quizzes, external files, discussions. Let's just go ahead and demonstrate the discussion. And we'll go ahead and make this our assignment for this tool. So Workflow pros and cons. So after you've explored your resources that fit your needs for Schoology, what are the pros and cons? Okay, so I really don't want a due date. I'm going to enable grading just so you guys can see what that will look like on your end as a student. And you can see you can do a scale or create your own rubric. So that's a really nice feature as well. I'm going to make it visible to students. I'm not going to individually. And members can see other responses before participating. I'm not going to click that. I want everybody to start with a fresh slate. All right, so when you guys log in and join, you'll be able to participate in that discussion. At this point in time, I'm going to go ahead and provide you with some self-directed learning links so you can dive in and learn more about what is most relevant to you. Okay, so we've had a really rich experience exploring and looking at the different tools. I would like to remind you that there's more ideas on our Pinterest board. Take a moment to read the disclaimer. And if you're interested in learning more about being a 21st century educator, um, hopefully this gave you a nice overview of some really popular tools that are available for educators. I hope that the hands-on exploration piece along with the demonstrations gave you the opportunities that you needed to take into consideration what your needs and expectations are, comparing the pros and cons of the tools, and help you settle on one that meets your digital workflow needs. So thank you very much for your time, and I hope that we have assisted you in your digital workflow. Thank you.